Hello everyone. This video we're going to talk about what's a pre-terminated fiber optic cable. First we're going to have to take a look at what's a fiber optic cable. The fiber optic cable is another way to transmit data. Usually we use Ethernet, which is transmitting the data through copper wires. Well, copper wires are good for like short range transmissions, but once we want to push the distance up to like 800,000 meters, there's going to be the power loss and the signal is going to attenuate. And now, if we want to go to like long distances, we're going to have to take a look at this fiber optic cable. Fiber optic cables transmit data in an optical signal. Optical signals, travels fast and far and won't really attenuate that much. And also, we all know that the inside of it is like plastic wrappings around it, and all the signals will bounce off the plastic inside. It's like a mirror, it bounces off. And then it bounces and travels, so there's barely any signal loss in short ranges. This short range is like in 1,000 meters. So let's take a close look at this cable. Fiber optic cables, they seem thin, but they also have, this is also a protective layer around that protects the plastic wrapping around for the lights to bounce off. Also, in regular conditions, we don't have the connections mounted on. So when we plant these cables for a network, we're going to have to mount these connectors on. Well, that is a complicating process because, to make sure there's no cracks in the tube, they have to make sure that all the connecting parts seal tightly, like no gaps at all, or the cracks will let the signal bounce outside. Well, our regular Ethernet cables, they're just wires. All we have to do is make sure the electricity can contact each other. So the crystal, they just cramp the crystal heads on. All they make sure is that both connections, they can have a little contact to transmit the electricity. Well, the optic cables are different. Fiber optic cables, they require precise equipment that has like magnifying glasses, which you can see closely that the cuts are very straight so they can connect to the other end. So it requires the precise machinery and better someone to operate it who has experience in doing this. If you don't, when you connect the end with these connectors, you plug in and test them, there might be a little crack somewhere and the signal will be losing. So then you'll have to do it all over again. So when I talked about just clamping them in the field, not like our Ethernet cable, they require a lot of precise work. But there's also a third option where we can purchase like this, which is already planted, the connectors. These are called pre-terminated fiber optic cables. When we purchase these, the only downside is that we can't really determine how much we need. Say that we have like 473 meters to use, but we can't really, it's pre-made, so we can't really get 473. We can get a 500, so there's going to be like a little extra, maybe somewhere where you have to like roll it a little. But this is like a dummy version of the fiber optic cable. All we have to do is get it back, mount the wires how we want, and connect it to the switch and this converter to the device. Everything's done, and we'll get faster transmission speed. So this is really efficient and simple. Only downside is it may not look pretty when we mount it around the room. Well, what else do we have to notice when we're choosing this fiber optic cable? Well, first, there are two models. The first one is a single mode fiber optic cable. This one has lower attenuation, so it can travel theoretically farther, and the bandwidth is we can say it's almost like unlimited bandwidth. These are mostly used for like telecom companies, which they need very long data transmissions. And also there is multimode, the multimode fiber optic cable. This one is mostly used in data centers. This one is not as fast as the single mode one. The single mode cable is faster, but the multimode, it's more used in data centers. So if we want to expand, we only can use multimode. Also, the connectors here, there are two common types: the standard connector and the local connector. The standard connector is inexpensive, so it's really easy to produce. Mostly are widely used. And the local connectors are very precise, high-dense connectors. They are very small, like half a size smaller than the standard connectors. So their production price might be a little bit high, but they can fit into very small places. So they save a lot of space. So how we choose it mostly depends on our needs. But we have to make sure when we're connecting them, the models are the same, so there will be no interference. Now let's take a look at these two accessories here. This is our module, and this is our converter. Our converter, well, by its name you can tell it converts the signal, because our fiber optic cables, they transmit with optical signals. But when we're receiving them, we have to convert them into digital signal first. So this converter here has its own power supply. It has an input for the optical signals and an output for after transmission, the data will be in digital form and will be transmitted out. As you can see that the input port, this slot here, is kind of different from our daytime crystal head slots. So we're going to need these kind of modules. The modules, the different color, represent different wavelengths. Well, they have to be traveling different wavelengths, so we can tell from which one is upload, which one is download. So it's pretty simple. These two modules we need these two modules for a transmission to complete. And the installing is pretty simple. We just insert this module in here first and remove the dust covers, because we have to make sure that the environment is clean. So if there's dust in here, next time when the signal bounces here, there might be some interference, because the signal's optical. If there's something in its way, it will bounce differently, so there will be a little signal loss. And this other part, we plant it in the other part. Also, we move the dust recovers, and we just slightly insert them. Also a little click. After that, we can just insert our cable. Oh, there's a cover here too. Forgot. So we insert our fiber optic cable. This one here. This one here. The data should be transmitted. Okay, this is like a complete setup for the fiber optic cable to its modules and converter. So this is the only part that will be different from original network setups. For more connecting details, I'll go show you guys in my next video. Okay, this video, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any more questions, please leave them at the section below. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.